Absolutely. During a shared death experience, is it possible for the non-dying person to get so pulled into the experience, into the portal, that they become uncomfortable, that the person becomes uncomfortable?
I can't remember hearing that with respect to shared death experiences, but a few cases of near-death experiences where people say that as they're slipping into this, they become anxious, that it's they experience the same thing that you hear from other people. It's like, I got out of my body and I saw this tunnel, except rather than euphoric or ecstatic, their experience of it is dysphoric. However, then, and these kinds of accounts, you often hear like a tone of shift of voice, but then, but then it's kind of, well, I got kind of used to this, or, well, I'm beginning to get into it. So I've known people who write there at the beginning, it's kind of weird. So it's like something like, what astral anxiety is, but then they say that then it smooths out, but for what it's worth.
How about you, William? That's interesting.
Yeah, I love this question too, Patricia. Thank you. This is a great one. And this, this is one of the questions that you're getting to, Patricia, is that, is it possible to, be having a shared death experience, but not return? Like all of a sudden you die because you get pulled in, you've gone too far, you've passed the boundary, and you can't get back to your human life. So to be clear, we don't see that. That being said, and we don't see any experiences also that would reflect that that's what happened either. Like we don't see people, caregivers, loved ones kind of dying at the same time of one of their loved ones who's dying. We don't see these, we don't see that happening. Like, so imagine someone dying and then a caregiver loved one dies of unknown causes. It just doesn't happen. But I will say this, and I'll share with the case that what you're getting to is a great question, because people will report that they feel a pull on their body. And I remember an early case in my studies with a woman who said this. She said, well, I was down the hall from my mother who was dying of ovarian cancer. And in the middle of the night, I woke up and I saw this being out in the distance. And I felt a pull on my body, but I didn't want to go. I resisted it. I didn't want to leave my human life. I didn't want to go out there. I don't even know what this was. It was just this blonde-haired being out there. But then the pull got stronger. And then I realized, oh, well, what if it's one of my kids? So because she thought it was one of her kids, she went out there. And as she got pulled out there, she gets close to this being with blonde hair. This being turns around and it's her mother who has died. And her mother looks at her and says, you see that I am alive and well. I will love you always. Go back and live your life, and I will help you as much as I can from this side. And so that's the shared death experience. This is the experiencer seeing the dying in the afterlife. And so what's important about this is that she recalls feeling the pull on her body. It was uncomfortable, and she did not want to go forward into this. But what I want to say as a way of guidance in our education about the SDE is, know that this is a phenomenon that we call this the pull upon the chest upward. And if you feel that, go with it. This is part of developing the receptivity to the shared death experience. This is part of enabling the shared death experience. Know that if you feel a pull, go with it. It's safe. There is also a boundary, as we've talked about, a boundary in both the NDE and in the SDE, to which the experiencer realizes they can go no further. So there is a boundary that everyone will get an opportunity to see and come back. And it happens actually instantaneously. It doesn't take much thought at all. It's usually automatic. There's some force out there that says, it's not your time, you're going back.
Yeah, I wonder if that sense of comfort and safety. Oh, excuse me, Raymond. Go ahead.
I guess it's kind of an astral tractor then, so to speak.
Well, yeah, it is a little. I mean, that's
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And that's maybe why trauma survivors who've used it had that ability, and also as a survival mechanism. Not only were they comfortable with it, but it was something that became a safe and reliable pathway that maybe it makes sense that those are people who are more comfortable with those kinds of experiences and impulses and tugs or pulls.